Well, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of rambling is going on in the Democrat Party, and the rambling is about old Biden. Now, they said that midway through the 2022 primary season, it said many Democratic lawmakers and party officials are venting their frustration with Biden's struggle to advance the bulk of his agenda, doubting his ability to rescue the party from the predicted midterm trouncing, and increasingly viewing him as an anchor they should cut loose in 2024. Boy, that's pretty quick for them to turn on him, huh? So they say, as the challenges face the nation mount with fatigue-based voters, show low enthusiasm, Democrats in union meetings, the back rooms of Capitol Hill, and party gatherings from coast to coast are quietly worrying about Mr. Biden's leadership, his age, and his ability to take the fight to former President Donald J. Trump a second time. They say interviews with nearly 50 Democratic officials, from county leaders to members of Congress, as well as with disappointed voters who backed Biden in 2020, reveal a party alarmed about Republicans' rising strength and extraordinarily pessimistic about an immediate path forward. They said that to say our country was on the right track would flagrantly depart from reality. It's a Steve Simonidis. It said he's a Democratic National Committee member from Miami. He said Mr. Biden, he said, should announce his intent not to seek re-election in 2024 right after the midterms. He said Democrats' concerns come as the opening hearing of the House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol made clear the stakes of the 2024 presidential election, in which Mr. Trump, they say, who lies fueled the white supremacist insurrection that disrupted peaceful transfer of power, may seek to return to the White House. They said for Biden and his party, the hearing's vivid reminder of the Trump-inspired mob violence, as it represents perhaps the last best chance before the midterms to break through with persuadable swing voters who have been more focused on inflation and gas prices. If the party cannot, it may miss its opportunity to hold Mr. Trump accountable as Mr. Biden faces a tumultuous 2 years of Republican-led House obstructing and investigating him. Now, they doing the January the 6th committee, and they want to play all of that during prime time. All of that is to try to, just believe it or not, they could have been done this. They doing it right now, like now, before the midterms. I'm going to tell you what, at this point, people really don't care about it like they talk about. Yeah, okay, we hear it, we see it, but let me tell you what people care about right now. Gas prices. People care about food prices. People care about the shelves being full when they go to the grocery store and different places where they need. They care about baby formula. You're hearing about shortages now of tampons for women. Truck drivers are saying that the diesel fuel is so high that they having to start parking their trucks, which if they park their trucks, we really going to have holes in the shelves. You understand what I'm saying? That's what Biden needs to get a hold of. That's what's hurting people every freaking day. And people in America, listen, they'll throw away everything else, but they want you to make sure their money is good. And right now, the gas prices we're paying is the highest in American history. It has never been this high ever. Even in 2008, it didn't get this freaking high. It didn't. Now, they said most top elected Democrats were reluctant to speak on the record about Biden's future. No one interviewed expressed any ill will toward Biden, to whom they were universally grateful for ousting Trump out of office. And said, but repeated failures of his administration to pass big ticket legislation on signature Democratic issues, as well as his halting efforts to use the bully pulpit of the White House to move public opinion, they say, have left the president with sagging approval ratings and a party that, as much as anything, seems to feel sorry for him. It said that has left Democratic leaders struggling to explain away a series of calamities for the party that all seem beyond Biden's control. Inflation rates unseen in 4 decades, surging gas prices, a lingering pandemic, and saying a spate of mass shootings, and say a Supreme Court poised to end the federal right, and say to a deletion, and say and key congressional Democrats' refusal to muscle through the president's Build Back Better agenda or an expansive voting rights. Okay, So they said that to nearly all the Democrats interviewed, they said the president's age, 79 now and 82 by the time the winner of the 2024 election is inaugurated, is a deep concern about his political viability. So they have watched as a commander-in-chief who builds a reputation on gaffes, has repeatedly rattled global diplomacy with unexpected remarks that were later walked back by his White House staff, and he sat for fewer interviews than any of his predecessors. They said the presidency is a monstrously taxing job, and the stark reality is the president would be closer to 90 than 80 at the end of the second term, and that would be a major issue. It said Biden doesn't get the credit he deserves for steering the country through the worst pandemic, passing historic legislation, putting NATO alliance together against Russian aggression, and restoring decency and decorum in the White House. They say, and a part of the reason he doesn't is performative. He said he looks, his age and isn't as agile in front of the camera as he once was, and this fed a narrative about competence that isn't rooted in reality. That's what his supporters say about him. Now they're saying Biden says that he wants to run again in 2024. They said, but if he does not, there's little consensus about who will lead the party. They said a few Democrats interviewed expect that high-profile leaders with White House ambitions would defer to Kamala Harris. They say who had a series of political hiccups of her own in office. They say these Democrats mentioned a host of figures who lost to Biden, which is Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, and Beto O'Rourke. All of them would lose to Trump. All of them. If Trump runs, they're done. Nobody's going to beat Trump. Not right now. I just don't see it happening. Now they said that's why they're trying their best to do what they can to stop Trump from running. All this January the 6th thing is all about stopping Trump. If they can stop him, then, oh, God, thank God. But this is the thing. If you stop Trump, I promise you DeSantis is going to run. And if DeSantis runs, I think DeSantis will win because that's Trump, light. Trump 2.0. Literally. He's following the same playbook as Trump. Now, they said only one person steered the transition is it past Trump's, they said lies in court challenges and insurrection to take office on January 20. They said it was Biden. It said other Biden's allies dismissed suggestions that any other Democrat would do better than him. It said this is the same hand wringing that we heard about Barack Obama in 2010 and 2011. This is what they said. So the Democrats are, worried. They said they're worried that leaders in the party aren't more aggressively touting the success of administration. The narrative needs a shift, and that can only happen with a powerful echo chamber combined with action in Congress on remaining priorities. Listen, if you want people to get on your side, I'm just telling you, it's like not that hard to figure out. If you want people on your side, guess what you need to do? Get the gas prices back down to what it was before Biden came in office. Undo all that freaking mess that Biden did the moment he got in there, right? Get the food prices down. Get the supply chain going where the shelves are full and they got too much stuff. They have to stack it up in the back. They have so much they got to put the stuff on sale. If you literally do that, people are like, okay, Biden is doing pretty good. But as long as these gas prices keep going up and up and up, do you know the gas price is the national average now is $5 a gallon. Earlier, yesterday, I went to put gas in my wife's car, and my wife's car don't take as much gas as my truck. And I put $88 worth of gas in her car. $88. And she has like a crossover. $88. I wouldn't even fill my truck up with $88 at one point in time. Well, my truck was like, I fill my truck up now and it gets half full. And that was running me $62. So my wife's car, $88. When filling mine up would run me about maybe 55 on a bad day. But I remember at one point in time, it was costing me $30 some odd to fill my truck up. And you go from $30 some odd to, I know now it's well over $100 to fill my truck up on empty. Like today, my wife's like, well, you can come with me to you say I can meet you after I drop these cakes off, to customers. I say, oh, no, I'm gonna go with you. I said, nope, we ain't riding no separate cars. We riding together. We saving on this gas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, it's just, it's too much. And that's what's going to make Republicans win, because people say, well, shoot, man, let's get the Republicans in here because we know they'll try to fight this gas down, you know. I mean, shoot, they can't do no worse than what y'all doing right now, right? I mean, the Democrats, they not addressing the crime. They're not addressing the gas prices. They're not addressing the food prices. They're not addressing anything. Anything. Listen, telling people it's Russia's fault. Nobody want to hear nobody no freaking Russia. Russia's way overseas, 1,000 miles away from us. Nobody wants to hear that. Get y'all behind out there and start producing that oil. Start refining that oil. And because the thing is, but at the same time, he needs to come out and say, look, right now we dealing with inflation. We need y'all to stop spending so much money. Stay your behind at home. Stay home. Stop driving so much right now. These gas prices, if you be honest, these gas prices will keep going up the more y'all keep driving. Right now, we need people to make a sacrifice and go back to what it was during the pandemic. Stay home. Go to work, fine. Go to work. Drop your kids off at school. Do whatever you got to do as normal. But extra things. Stay home. Stay out the movie theaters. Stay out the restaurants. Stay out the nightclubs. Just stay out of places like it was during the pandemic and watch how the prices will go down. Because you're not spending money. You have too much demand right now. So they're purposely not putting in enough supply, so they're raising the price. It's a game. It's all a game these corporations are doing. And because this country don't get the corporations into control and they don't put laws out there to control private business like that, because oil and gas and all that strategic assets for the country. So they should be regulating that with laws. Say, wait a minute, we got a cap on how much this stuff can go up. This is not going to work. You know what I'm saying? But the Democrats not addressing anything. They're literally looking stupid in office. You can't just say Biden, it's all of them. They're not addressing a freaking thing. Nobody's coming up with a plan to get these food and gas prices down. And we know that the black community was going to suffer more than any other group. This is a major issue. You look at the rent issue. They're not addressing the situation with rent. It's just skyrocketing all over the place. They're not addressing that. They're not addressing it, that people being evicted left and right and making more people homeless, which creates more crime. They're not addressing any of that. They just sitting up there pointing blame is not going to get it, bruh. You got to address all this. You the president. That's the job. You want it. Okay, you got Trump out. Do the job. And him and the Democrats are very incompetent. They worry more about deletion instead of worrying about the everyday things that will make people happy with you. It's not that hard to figure out what would make people happy with you in the country. So if the Democrats, if they were smart, they wouldn't have him run. I mean, the man don't even know if he's coming or going half of the time. You can just tell. He don't know. He don't know. There's many people that regret voting for Biden. I'm talking about people in general. I'm not just talking about black folk. It's white folks, everybody. They regret it now. But it's the thing. People ran out there and voted for him because he wasn't Trump. But but when Trump was in office, the gas was in places $1.99, $1.80 in some places. I remember that. Premium was about $2 and 20 some more cents. I remember that. And now premium is over $5. Over $5. And regular is over $5. I want my $2 and under $1.99 gas back. Well, I don't use regular. I'll use premium. But I want my $2.21 premium back. That's what I want. I want that. And I know most of you want the gas to go down too. Everything has went up since this man has been in office. He came in there making people lose their job behind a doggone medical decision that people didn't want to do at the time. And then now look at them. They're not requiring that no more. They dropped the testing requirement to come into the U.S. You know, you can fly in here now with no test. But what about all the people that lost their job because of that? People ain't forgot about that either, bruh. You caused issues in the economy that way. People that worked their jobs 20 years, 10 years, they got let go because of him. People haven't forgot that either. So now it's the midterms is going to be it's going to be a sea of red in midterms. It's going to, because what they said that after June the 20th, they said anything goes with the gas prices. They said they thinking we will be paying over $6 gas by the end of August, and it can continue to go up from there. $6, folks. $6. I said I want to see how far the gas price is going to go up for the people actually react to it. Because I say, what, it's going to take it $10 gas? That's going to take for y'all? And it's all the Democrats too. Biden, all of them, CBC, all of them. You know why they don't care? They don't even care. The reason why they don't care is because they get their money. They ain't worried about gas. You got to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sorry part about it. Nobody worrying about the people. Nobody. That's why I told y'all need to get out there and replace all those politicians. All of them need to go. Biden isn't the only one that's 79, 80. Nancy Pelosi's over 80. Like, no, all of them need to go. They need to be replaced with younger people with new ideas and more quick on their feet to think. Why in the world do we have our Congress looking like the senior citizen home? Why? They done their time. It's time for all of them to go. But the voters is the people that keep sending them back up there. Why do you keep doing it as a public? Why? It's like you afraid for younger people to come in and run the country? That's what this country needs. It needs younger people with fresh ideas. No matter what side of the aisle they think, you need younger people. And if the country would say, you know what, let's let the Gen Xers and the millennials, let's get them in there. You know, hell, some places we can get the Gen Zs, at least the older ones. Let them get in, do some things. You know, let's try something new, because we got enough senior citizens up there, and that's not working. It's just not. It's a reality. The majority of them up there are considered senior citizens, and I think they served their country. They done their time. Now it's time to pass the torch. I don't know what it is with that group of people, that baby boomer generation. They do not want to pass the torch to these younger people. Instead of stepping aside and saying, you know what, hey, this young man right here, this young lady right here, I think they'll be great, to take my position. They don't want to even step aside. They want to die in those positions. That's the crazy part. And the whole world laughing at America right now, and they don't even see it. But, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on the podcast. We greatly appreciate you joining us. Make sure you subscribe, that we know the next time we post a podcast. Click that like button. That's also very important to spread the video in the algorithm. Also, we appreciate you coming over here, to the podcast. I know there's other places you could have been, but you chose to come here. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.